Hey guys, Dave from Timber Time Outdoors. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to talk about the Thule Hullavator Pro Kayak Rack. We're going to talk about three things in this video. Number one, I'm going to touch on installation. Number two, I'm going to talk about all the benefits to it. And number three, we're going to touch on some cons at the end of the video. There's one big one, so stay with us. All right, this is not an installation video, but I did want to touch on installation and basically how difficult it was. I'll just say it took about 30 minutes. You need basic tools. The instructions that come with it are not the best. So it's just the paper instructions. However, YouTube can save the day like it always does. Somebody has put out a nice video on how to install this. So again, it took me about 30 minutes. You know, if I had to put a grade on it between like 1 being super easy, 5 being really difficult, it was a 1 or a 2 in terms of install. So not a big deal at all. So, you know, don't worry about that, but it does come in multiple pieces. It's a little intimidating when you take it out of the box, but you know, the first one's a little more difficult than the second. Once you do one of them, you can do the other. Pretty straightforward. Now, your bars on your vehicle change this installation slightly. So for me, you know, I just had the aero bars with the T-slots, really straightforward. All right, next we're going to talk about ease of use. So basically I'm going to demonstrate how to bring this thing down, load the kayak. I'll talk through it. It's by far the best feature of this system. So let's get after it here. All right, we've got our kayak here. So this is an Eddieline Caribbean 12-footer FS. It's actually 45 pounds and actually exceeds what they recommend for this thing. So they tell you this thing can only lift 40 pounds. I can tell you right now, you know, it does lift a lot more, and you'll see that in just a second. So 45-pound kayak, this says it's a 45-pound limit. We've got a trigger system here. You basically just pull the trigger, tip it up, pull the trigger again, and you've got to apply some pressure to compress the air shock. It locks in place. Same thing here. Tip it up, pull it down, and it'll just stay there. All right, so then we go grab the kayak here. And again, this one's 45 pounds, so not too bad. I'm not exactly sure how heavy of a kayak you can put on here, but it's really that simple. So very ergonomic. Getting a kayak over your head and putting it up on a car, extremely difficult. That's probably why you're here watching this video. Okay, another super easy part about this is strapping it on. And I'm only gonna do one side here in the speed of YouTube here, but basically you loop this through both sides. Pretty simple strap. Not a ratchet, it's just like a compression strap. And you do the other side and it's that simple. Now there are 2 tethers. I'll grab those here. Comes with these 2 tethers for front and back. I only use these when we're out on the highway. If we're just putzing around town, I don't bother with that. This holds it on plenty good. All right, so from here, I'm going to show you basically the 1-arm, 2-arm, 1-arm lift here. So a couple things about this. This is a little bit awkward. You got to reach under and again find those triggers. Okay, and you got to do both sides at the same time. So I pull them down and it basically lifts itself. So I'm going to stop here and kind of let go of it. So I can hold that up with a couple fingers. Now, again, it says it's a 45-pound lift, but I bet you I'm putting about 10 pounds of pressure on there to lift that up. Okay, so push that up. It clicks into place. Tip it down and then it locks there. Now I want to show you something here. That's basically it. You tether it down and go down the road. But I want to show you something that's happened to some people that have complained about this system. it's basically gotten bent or racked on them. So here's what people are doing wrong. I guess I'll demonstrate how easy it is to bring it down too. Whoops. So you gotta do the triggers again. Whoa. See how this can get wobbly? So one side wants to go up, one side wants to go down. This is how it gets bent. So if you take this kayak and you lift on one side, you're gonna bend it, okay? So it's really important when you use the system to stay in the middle and keep it centered and make sure that it doesn't get bent. So some people have complained about that. That's pretty much, in my opinion, operator error. This system works really well. You can see how it saves your back, one arm operation. I'm a big fan. All right. Now, this system comes with some nice padding and support and adjustability for each kayak. So, you know, you can adjust the arms. It's got some pads on it. But the geometry of every kayak is a little bit different. And even though there is some adjustability, for this particular kayak, I still needed some pool noodles. And I can kind of show you that here, where I had to use these. So depending on your kayak, you might need some extra padding. So let's take a look at that now. So I'm gonna bring this down. Oh, the other thing too, guys, if you don't quite get this trigger pulled, it can kind of catch and be a little annoying, but you know, it's sort of a learning curve once you've used it a few times. It doesn't happen to you that often. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna move the camera. The keel of this kayak is touching the metal. And so I just end up taking a pool noodle, just kind of slip it in here between the keel and the bottom of the bracket, and then tighten it back down. It's pretty straightforward, but yeah, keep in mind that each kayak's gonna need a little bit different attention when it comes to the bottom. We'll show this again from the side view so you can see how easy it is. Click the triggers, lift up. Click the triggers again. Tip it forward, lock it in place. It is that simple. Is that worth the money? You be the judge. All right, from this perspective, I'm gonna give you both a pro and a con here. So you can kind of see how it's offset on the Jeep. It's almost hanging over the side. It's a little bit different on each vehicle, but on this particular one, it does hang over. Now, it's not outside the mirrors, so you know, you don't really have to worry about it too much. We drive around town with it all the time. Obviously, you wouldn't want to pull into your garage. You're going to rip your kayak right off. But the fact that it's offset, to me, is a little bit of a con. But I do like how this is flat instead of some kayaks are kind of up on the end and they're even taller, a little less aerodynamic. So some aerodynamic gains. It's offset to one side. I guess a positive to being offset to one side is I could get a second kayak on the other side if you wanted to buy two of these systems, which would cost a lot of money, which I'll talk about in just a minute. All right, then the last pro, or the last thing I like about this system, is the materials here. We got, you know, mainly aluminum construction for all the structural members, and then we've got nice plastics and fabrics, nothing that's gonna corrode or degrade quickly, so very well made. I do like the materials in this particular system. All right, let's talk about the cons to this thing. There's only a couple, well, three. I mentioned one of them where it's kind of offset. That's sort of a double-edged sword because it allows you to get two kayaks, but it's a little weird how when we just have one, it's hanging over. Now, this next one is probably something that all kayak systems and roof racks do, but this one in particular is a little bit annoying. There's a ton of wind noise with this system. So now again, Jeep Wranglers are not the quietest vehicle, so if you have this on a nice quiet SUV, you're probably not going to hear as much of this noise, but in this particular Jeep, when you're going down the highway at 70 miles an hour, there's some weird noises happening. And you know, we're on a long trip right now, so that got pretty annoying. So just be aware that you're going to experience a lot of sounds that are normal, if you will. A lot of wind noise and whistling and this kind of thing. Okay, the elephant in the room is the cost of this system. I'm going to just quote REI's price because they typically do MSRP with most of their stuff. $899.95. So $900 for just one side of your vehicle. So one kayak, $900. Whew. You know, that's a lot. I would say if you are a strong individual, you don't have a super tall vehicle, you might not need this system. I originally bought this, I was going to put it on my truck. And this allows me to put it on my truck, or it allows my wife to do this by herself, you know, with a 45-pound kayak. So to us, you know, it was one of those situations where you buy once, you cry once type of thing. It was a lot of money. I did have a discount, gift card, and this and that, and kind of brought that price down, but it's expensive. I get it, but it is a nice system, and to be able to have ergonomics like it has is fantastic. Okay guys, we'll wrap this video up. That concludes the review here of the Thule Hullavator Pro Kayak Rack. It's kind of one of those buy once, cry once. You got an eye-watering price, but the benefits are there and kind of justified in my opinion. So like, subscribe, send it to your friends, and remember everybody, keep it in the timber. Bye-bye.